Hello, welcome to Distinguished Wisdom Presents. Hello, welcome to Distinguished Wisdom Presents. I'm Pastor Terrance Levise Turner, a sage for this age, from God's heart to yours, the voice of wisdom for contemporary times. I'd like to welcome you to this program today, Distinguished Wisdom Presents. On today's program, I'd like to talk to you about my new book, Gain 2020 Vision. Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade. A step-by-step path to a more successful future. Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade. A step-by-step path to a more successful future and a new decade. And so, also, I want to give you today an overview. Today, I want to give you an overview of my new book, Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future. I want to give you an overview of the book because I want to encourage you to get this book. Get this book. It will bless you as we are going forward into 2020 and into the new decade, a new decade. I want you to think of your life not from the point of, this month or, the first few months of the year or the first few months of 2020 or, hey, I'm halfway through the year. I don't want you to think of your life in that way. Don't limit how you think about your life. Why? Because life moves very fast. And so you have to plan. You need to plan for your life in bigger chunks, because if you plan for your life in larger chunks, then larger spaces of time, then that gives you more power over time. Let me say that again. If you think of your life in larger spaces of time, that gives you more power over time. We can't stop time. We can't stop time from coming and going. Things come and they pass. And, many events have happened even this year. Many things have come, and I say many things have come to pass. Yet, if you will think of your life in larger chunks, if you will think of your life in larger chunks or larger segments of time, it gives you more power over time. It gives you more power over time. Why? Because you're looking at it with a long range vision, and you're able to section off a longer path of time, a longer space of time. And so you can make bigger, larger, more definite plans that gives you a greater chance of success. And so I want to talk to you about my book, Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future. Now, the scripture tells us that the steps of a good man, the steps of a good woman, good boy, girl, teenager, the steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in your way. And so the Bible lets us know that in Psalm 37, in the 37th Psalm, it lets us know the steps of a good man, the steps of a good woman, boy, girl, teenager, are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in our ways. And so their steps, if you are going on a long journey, then you take steps to get there. You don't just, you're not on, some sci-fi film of some type and you say, beam me up, and you're there. No, in most cases, you take steps. even if you're in a vehicle, you have to take miles. They have mile markers along the road, to let you know that you're getting closer. And so, say if you're talking to your loved one, you're on a trip, a road trip, or you're taking a drive, and and you're trying to get somewhere, and you have a loved one that's trying to keep up with where you're going and when you're going to be there. And they say, where are you on the journey? And you say, well, you know which exit you're getting off of, but they say, where are you on the journey? And you say, well, I just passed mile marker 237, or I just passed mile marker 115. Why? Because even though you're at mile marker 115 and you don't get off until mile marker 231, that gives them an idea of just about how long it should take you under normal circumstances to get there. And it also gives a sense of comfort to those that are either depending on you to make the journey. Also, it should give you a greater sense of control of your trip. You're not just aimlessly traveling along with no sense of direction. And that's why I'm talking to you today from my book, giving you an overview from my book, Gain 2020 Vision. Distinguished Wisdom presents Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future. Again, now that was a nugget that I'm revealing to you. Again, I'm Pastor Terrance Levise Turner, a sage for this age. Pastor Terrance Levise Turner, a sage for this age, from God's heart to yours. The voice of wisdom for contemporary times. And I'm giving you some insight, some guidance along your journey, because even if this year, the beginning of 2020, the beginning of the new decade, even if it didn't start in the way that you would like it to start, there's been many things that has occurred already that if you do not have a long-range vision, a long-range vision, not just for this year, but for this whole decade, that could also give you direction for your future going forward. How many know that a 10-year period of time can change the entire rest of your life? A 10-year period of time, a decade, can change the entire rest of your life. Don't think about the past, whether if it wasn't what you wanted. You build upon the past. You take the lessons that you learn, but you can decide now at the beginning of this decade, 2020, a new decade, you can decide now how successful you want your life to be for this decade and for the rest of your life. And that's why I'm talking to you today from my book, Distinguished Wisdom Presents Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future. And so I'm giving you insights. And that's a key insight. If you will think of your life in a longer block of time, it will give you more control over time. We can't control time in the sense of stopping time. We can't save time. Time is going to pass. However, you can master time. You can master time by planning steps to your journey. Have a destination in mind. Have plans in mind. What are your plans? Your desires, your hopes, your expectations. Why? Because the Bible lets us know in Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Verse 2 says, for by it the elders obtained a good report. By what? By that faith that they had. But what is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. What is hope? Hope is a joyful expectation A joyful expectation based on a promise that it can come to pass. Based on a promise that it is for me. Based on a promise that God did tell me that this was in my future. And so what do? Your faith is the steps that you take. Your faith is the steps that you take. Your faith is the steps that you take toward your hope. And so even if the hope is something large, something great, and I want to say that I believe that you have great expectations. I believe that you have great expectations. And so if you have great expectations for even this year, you have enough months in this year right here, you have enough months left in this year to get an outcome that you desire before the end of the year. If you look at it, not from the point of, what am I going to do tomorrow? Just what am I going to do tomorrow? Make it through the day. Or, can I make it to the end of the week? Can I make it to payday? No, you want to look at it from a longer range view, Again, look at it from a longer block of time, and then you can master that. It gives you more control over that time. Look at it from a longer range and it gives you more control. And so it doesn't take you a long time. It doesn't take you a long time to look at it from a longer range. Actually, it takes a short period of time to make a long distance plan. It takes a short period of time to make a long distance plan. All it takes is the discipline, the concentration, the discipline and the concentration. That's what it takes. The discipline and concentration to stop. Stop, think, meditate, decide. Stop, think, meditate, decide. Stop, think, meditate, decide. Decide what you want. Decide what your hope is. Decide what your desire is. And then document. Document what you want. Write it down. And see, it may be, when it comes to a vision, I'm talking to you about Distinguished Wisdom Presents Gain 2020 Vision for the new decade. A step-by-step path to a more successful future. A vision is long range, is a long range projection. A vision is a long range projection of something you see for your future, of your hope, of your expectation. It's a long range projection of something that you see, that you hope for. We often watch television. That writer, that producer, that executive producer, that director, they saw a vision of a story that they wanted to tell, and they put it in visual format, and they hired actors who also caught the vision, and they animated the vision, the parts of the vision. They put together a set and scenery to help to illustrate and make the vision real so you can see it. They had sound effects, they had music in order to make the vision real. And then they broadcast the vision through television through through television, through that medium or media, because they were telling their vision of a story that it started off with the writer of the vision, and then the producer, the executive producer, the director, the actors all came together in all the parts to tell a vision. That's what your favorite show is. Whether it's a talk show, whether it's a game show, whether it's a reality show, whether it's a cooking show, whether it's a sitcom, whether it's a movie, it's a vision. Someone saw something that they wanted to bring into the earth and project into the realm, into the atmosphere so that it could be seen. And how many know how powerful a vision can be? A vision can be so powerful if you will see it, if you will feel it, if you will put music to it, if you will write it, if you will say it, if you will tell your vision. And so I'm talking to you from my book, Distinguished Wisdom Presents, Gain 2020 Vision for a New Decade. For the new decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future. And so I wanted to give you one particular nugget as we look at this overview of this book. I wanted to give you one particular nugget concerning mastering this new decade. Look at your life. Look at this decade from a long range block of time, and it will give you more control over time. It will give you more mastery over time. If this year, these few months as the year has started, if it seems disruptive, out of control, God, now here's the key. God, He sits in eternity. So I want you to get God's view. And so that's one of the keys in this book. I talked to you in this book about 5 essential keys to a more successful new decade. I talked to you about 5 essential keys to a more successful new decade. And that the first key is God. God. If your relationship with God, seeing life from the perspective of your relationship with God, it will give you more peace of mind. It will give you more control, self-control. Real control starts with self-control. But if you have self-control, if you control yourself, if you hold your peace, Jesus said, in your patience, possess ye your souls. In your patience. Patience is self-control. Patience is long suffering. Patience is temperance. In your patience, possess ye your soul. In other words, you remain self-possessed. Don't allow life to whip you around. The way that is obtained, the first way that is obtained is in your relationship with God. When you know that God is sovereign. God sits upon the circle of the earth. God sits in eternity. He's the Ancient of Days. He knows all things, sees all things. He's all powerful. He can do all things. There's nothing impossible to God. And He loves you. He loves you. The very hairs of your head are all numbered. Not just counted, numbered. God, He's placed a number on each hair on your head. He knows when any hair falls out of your head in the brush. He knows which number it was. You are specially designed. You are specially designed because God is an engineer. And if you think about the engineers, you think about the engineers of the devices that we use today, and the innovations and inventions, and whether it's cars, cell phones, whatever it may be. The inventors, manufacturers of those, they don't randomly put components into those devices. They don't randomly, hey, I'm going to throw this many wires in there and this many circuits in there and this many buttons in there, and let's shake it up in a box and ship it on out. No, they know exactly how many components goes into each device that goes out, each one. Well, we are made in the image and likeness of God. That wisdom that mankind has, it comes from God, that organization, that meticulous organization. And God is just that meticulous about you. He knows the very number of hairs upon your head. He knows the number of skin cells on your body. He knows the number of cells in your body. He knows every tear that falls from your eyes. God knows. And when you know God, and you know that God knows you, you can have peace of mind. That's one of the main keys to having a proper vision for the new decade. Do not be disturbed by short-term disruptions in time. Look at your life from a long-range view. And if you look at this new decade, 2020, the beginning of a new decade, from a long-range view, and you make step-by-step plans of a vision that you see for your life, where you want to be in your health, your marriage, your family, your finances. Well, if you will make plans for it, God will help you to achieve it. And this book, Distinguished Wisdom Presents, Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future, by Pastor Terrance Levise Turner, MBA, a sage for this age, from God's heart to yours, the voice of wisdom for contemporary times. This book will give you guidance. It will give you comfort. It will give you peace of mind. It will give you direction. It will help you to have a more healthy and a financially prosperous life. And it will give you the right perspective for this time and the future. Please visit my website, TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com. That's TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com, and get your copy of this book today. If you will go to my website, TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com, and order 2 or more copies of Distinguished Wisdom Presents Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, the paperback. If you order 2 or more copies at my website, you'll get a special discount. The book is available on all of your favorite sites that you buy the book at regular price. You can go and you can purchase the book at all of your favorite sites online, and you can purchase the book. But if you go to my website, TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com, and order 2 or more books, I will also give you a free cup, the mug, the cup, the coffee cup, the tea cup, the cocoa cup, the coffee cup. I'll give you this free cup for the new decade. Gain 2020 Vision for the new decade. And if you buy 2 or more of the books at a special price that's on my website, a special discount that's on my website, TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com, you'll get a free cup sent out to you, absolutely free, so that you can enjoy the book and enjoy reading the book, enjoy a cup of tea, a cup of cocoa, a cup of coffee, whatever your favorite beverage is, from this free book of the new decade. Gain 2020 vision for the new decade. Also, be sure to get the t-shirt, Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade. It comes in male and female sizes, men and women sizes, and it's available as an add-on. If you purchase the book, just add on the shirt, a male shirt, or one for men, one for women, buy one for your husband, your wife, your daughter, your son, and get the book, get the t-shirt, get the cup, and truly be blessed, and get it for gifts. So again, if you buy 2 or more of the books, Distinguished Wisdom presents Gain 2020 Vision for the New Decade, a step-by-step path to a more successful future, 2 or more at my website, TerranceTurnerLivingProverbs.com, you'll get a free cup, the cup of the new decade. Gain 2020 vision for the new decade to enjoy your favorite beverage as you read the book. I'm Pastor Terrance Levise Turner, a sage for this age, the voice of wisdom for contemporary times. I want to thank you for joining me today for this program, Distinguished Wisdom Presents. Please join me again next time. God bless you, and my prayer for you until we meet again is may your life be enriched by the words of wisdom. God bless you.